All right, all right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. Bonjour. How you doing? Thank you for joining us today on Big DFS Energy. Today we're going to take a early look-see at this weekend's divisional playoff round. But before I get too much into football or anything else, today I am joined by one of my co-founders, one of my good buddies, and somebody who can talk football better than anybody I know. Why don't you introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey guys, glad to be here. My name's Mark. We didn't come here to play, we came here to win, and so did you. So let's get this show started.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I'm glad to have you here, Mark. Honestly, it's really
Thanks.
nice to not have to do this show on my own. And yeah, let's talk football. I really did have a blast watching this super wild card weekend. I don't know why they called super, but it was super. I hit a lot of my freaking props. DFS on owner's box. I crushed it. I finished in the money 3 out of the 3 nights, and I also finished third on the Saturday slate, which was absolutely phenomenal. What about you, buddy? How was your super wild card weekend?
Man, to me, it was a super weekend. I hit 5 out of 6 on all my bets that I placed this weekend. I hit all my player props. First time in a little while that I hit all my player props. I mean, I'm a little upset that the Giants upsetted the Vikings. I was hoping the Vikings would win this one, but you know what? Go Giants.
I mean, I hear you. I actually had a big parlay for all of the games, and I was right up until Sunday night, and then I looked at the cash out option, and I had the Cowboys on Monday, and I said to myself, I want the Cowboys to win. I'd like the Cowboys to win, but you can't bet against the GOAT. So I took the coward's way out, and I cashed out. Needless to say, it was a bad decision, but I still finished in the money, so no complaints there.
Listen, I was beating myself up for betting on the Jags and trusting my heart. And at 27 nothing at halftime, I stuck to the game, watched it all, watched the comeback, and that just started my weekend on the best note ever.
I mean, here's how it usually goes, right? You have a good week with your player props, with your bets. You think you're on a high. You got all that confidence. You're like, I can't go wrong. This division round, this divisional playoff slate, it might just do the complete opposite, and I'm super anxious about it. So I'm going to double down on my research and make sure that the information that I have for myself and for all you beautiful, wonderful people tuning in can just get the best advantage to make that moolah. But first things first, Owner's Box is the best DFS platform in all of Ontario and worldwide. You want to sign up today using the link below, using code BIGDFS when you go sign up. Upon signing up, you can get up to $500 matched with your initial deposit. Just a friendly reminder with your deposits that they're all done and converted into US dollars, including your withdrawals. So now that we got paying our taxes out of the way, let's talk foosball. Game 1, the second half cardiac kids, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Saturday at what time is the game at? It's at 4:15, 4:30. Yeah, Saturday, and they're coming into Kansas City. This game should be interesting. If the Jags come into this one trailing at half, I don't think Kansas City is going to let up. But I just want to know what your take on this one is, buddy.
Man, I am going with my heart once more. I'm going with the team that showed the most heart on the field. I'm going for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, the defense second half stepped their game up. They only allowed 67 rushing yards total. They shut down Dalvin Cook on the receiving part of the game, where he had something like 6 receptions for only 10 yards. So, I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars are just showing an amazing performance. I think it's a repeat. I think they're going to find a way to keep their game going, give the ball back to the offense. I think Trevor Lawrence 4 interception at halftime. That's not something that we're going to see this time. What I love and what I can't wait to see is how Andy Reid game plan goes versus Doug Peterson's game plan. That's one thing that I can't wait to see how it's going to how the showdown's going to go down. I think it's going to be a highly offensive game, and I can't wait to get into the player props on this one.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of interesting props out there. I will agree with you. Despite Austin Eckler scoring 2 touchdowns, the Jags defense shut down the run. They played really well against the run, which was nice to see. That defense is young and they fly around. But when I'm looking at this game, if I was, the guy who designed the opening script for the Jacksonville Jaguars first half, I would be fired. But Doug Pearson definitely showed his ability to, change the script, adapt and adjust with his halftime adjustments and come back. But on the other side, you got Andy Reid, who is like the king of halftime adjustments. He's the halftime adjustment GOAT. And speaking of, people who do scripts, I feel terrible for the defensive person in charge of scripting against the red zone package that the Chiefs have. Whatever the Chiefs do in the red zone, you can't prepare for it. You can't script for it. You can't plan for it. They do ring around the rosy. They do cartwheels. It's a freaking circus. Needless to say, it's cool to see. It's awesome to see. But let's talk about some DFS stuff. Early on, looking into this matchup, is there any stacks or any certain plays that you like?
I am fully stacking Jacksonville Jaguars player. Evan Ingram, for me, it's a get right game. He had 2 picks on him last game. He's having a phenomenal season, one of his best seasons ever. Last game, he had 7 receptions. He put in 93 yards. I mean, he stepped up, and I think we're going to see that again. Another player I want to stack, Travis Etienne. Now, look, he hasn't been all that. He hasn't showed that he's a top 5 running back. But against the Chiefs, I'm sure the game plan is going to be to get the run going, get Travis Etienne going. He's going to have some receptions there to add to that. The Chiefs doesn't have the best reception covering linebackers. I think we're going to see a great game from Travis Etienne. And all those reception yards, who's going to throw the ball? Trevor Lawrence. So I'm stacking Lawrence, Ingram, and Etienne in this game. That's for sure.
You're going Jags all the way. Since I'm looking at this matchup, I personally don't see a need to stack any of the Chiefs' major stacks that you would see typically.
Mm-hmm.
Guy I'm really looking towards is more effective in the passing game, especially since week 13, since he's taken over for injured Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Man, what a tragic season. He started off so strong. Mm-hmm. Anyways, needless to say, Jerick McKinnon in the passing game has been redonkulous. He's put up a stupid amount of touchdowns. Mm-hmm. In the last 7 games, he was averaging 1.3 touchdowns per game in the receiving department. Sure, he's not getting the totes and the runs and the opportunity to carry the ball a lot. But when it matters the most, he has been getting involved in the check down game. He has been getting involved in the long game, screen game, you name it. His game is something I can't deny. But that's enough about that game. We'll definitely be talking more about it later on this week.
I'd like to add one thing.
Yeah, no problem.
Andy Reid has been in conference championships 4 times. He has the experience. I think it's going to be a great game to see. I can't wait to see. I'm happy if the Chiefs make it a fifth time. Well, if Andy Reid makes it a fifth time, but I'm also rooting for the Jacksonville Jaguars on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Jags as my favorite to make it to the AFC Championship. Obviously, we slept on the Chiefs last week because they didn't play, so we just faded them automatically. But I'm going to stick to my gut on this one. I'm going to run with who brung me, and I got the Jags coming out on top. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. But the Jags AFC Championship, that's still what I'm riding with. I'm going with the Jags, just a straight up money line play here. So on to the next game. We got the New York Giants, the surprise New York Giants coming into Philadelphia Saturday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know how to feel about this one. You know better than anybody how much I freaking love my Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't forgive you for how dirty you did me in that draft. Just went ahead and not that draft alone. Almost every draft you went and stole Saquon from me. I still love you though.
I love me some Saquon.
Needless to say, this game has a lot of storylines. The Giants are coming in as 7.5 underdogs. I would probably take the spread for the Eagles here. But that's how I feel. I don't know how you feel about the game. Why don't you tell me a little bit on your take on
like I feel like the Giants
good.
are where they want to be. I feel like every single time that the Giants won a Super Bowl, they came in as underdogs. Everybody's saying not the best team. They're lacking at this place. They're lacking here. They're lacking there. And they've upset teams every single time. I think the Giants are going to have an amazing game. I'm thinking that I'm willing to put my hand to the fire that this is going to be a defensive game. So we're going to see a lot of defensive plays. The Giants defense last game really stepped up their run defense as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm mistaken Eckler for Dalvin Cook, but they limited Dalvin Cook to 61 yards and 7 targets for 6 receptions for 10 yards only. So they shut down one of the main key players of the Vikings offense, putting all the pressure on Kirk Cousins. I think the Giants can pull something similar. Now, what I'm worried about is the bye week for Jalen Hurts. So he came back from an injury versus the Giants, didn't play well, didn't have a good QBR. In fact, his QBR when last game versus the Giants, something in the 30s. It was awful. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. We saw some good things from Jalen Hurts, but I'm thinking he's going to be a little bit rusty. The Eagles are going to put pressure. They're going to contain the run on this one. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants go ahead and upset the Eagles on a tight defensive game.
Wouldn't that be something? I like Saquon. Don't get me wrong. I love Saquon in this matchup. I even like what the Giants have done so far. Brian Dable has absolutely revitalized that team. It's nice when you can switch from a useless offensive coordinator like Jason Garrett and get a head coach and an offensive mastermind in Brian Dable. And the work that he's done with Daniel Jones is Josh Allen-esque. Josh Allen-esque, right? Mm-hmm. He has improved in every facet. He's even been better at taking care of the ball. This game's going to come down to the running game. That's the way I look at it. And you alluded to earlier where you like the whole rushing aspect of both quarterbacks, but Miles Sanders, I'm so torn about this guy. I think that I might actually fade him, but still stay in the whole realm of the Eagles run game as a whole. And I think one of my favorite players coming into this, and he's going to be really low owned and really inexpensive on Owner's Box DFS, is Boston Scott. Boston Scott might be my second favorite play on the Eagles. Obviously, AJ Brown's my first. But with that being said, is there any stacks or any players individually that you're I gotta have them on my Saturday slate on Owner's Box?
Well, I mean, give me some tight ends this weekend because Dallas Goedert coming in at $4,700. I'm taking Goddard
What a
every
steal.
single
What a
slate.
steal.
Every team I'm building, I'm having me some Dallas Goddard. I was saying earlier, Jalen Hurts is going to struggle a little. What do we see with quarterbacks when they struggle? They go for the tight ends. Dallas Goddard, amazing blocker, but he's good at catching the ball, securing the ball, and getting yards after hits. So I think Goddard's going to go off at $4,700. He's a steal this week. But who am I stacking? I'm stacking Daniel Jones and Hodgins, and for this reason. Last game, Daniel Jones, do you know how many times he rushed? He ran 17 times, 78 yards. So he can scramble and get those yards, and he can get some big yardage plays when it counts. The player I'm most excited to see is a guy who was non-existent at the first half of the season, not even on a starting position, not even on a team, not even dressed up, and that is Isaiah Hodgins. He's come out as the second half of the season stud. Every single game, he's getting more and more playtime, more and more involved. He's averaging 8.66 targets per game. He had one touchdown in the last of his 3 weeks. He's on fire. Daniel Jones trusts him. He's aiming for him in the red zone. I'm having myself some Daniel Jones and Isaiah Hodgins.
I hear you. I hear you. I definitely wouldn't personally go with Daniel Jones just because I'm going to ride with the favorites here. So Jalen Hurts, that's my guy. But just to touch upon your point on the whole tight end matchup, the Giants suck at defending the tight end position. TJ Hawkinson, sorry, he is nowhere near as talented or capable as Dallas Goddard, and he had career games every time he went against those Giants. So I see Goddard putting up monster stats. I don't disagree with you when you say that, he's a must-have no matter what. If he's in your tight end position, if he's in your flex position, if he's in your prop, if he's in your prom, I don't care. Put Goddard in. Put Goddard in. All right. That's enough on the Saturday slate. Let's get into Sunday. You got game 1 on Sunday, 3 p.m. The game of unfinished business. You got two teams that did not dominate the way that I had hoped they would have dominated in their previous matchups. The Bengals got a miracle play to clutch a victory that shouldn't have been that close. And then the Buffalo Bills did not leave the Miami Dolphins in a vapor trail. The Miami Dolphins did not get vaporized. There was no vapor trail or vaporization there. None whatsoever. Shout out Mike McDaniels, you legend, you. With that being said, I like this game. I like the storyline. I like everything coming into it. The fact that we get to get closure on who's the better team this season is pretty awesome. What's your take on this, buddy?
As you said, it's the unfinished game of the year. I mean, I think the Bills will give it their all. This is an emotional game for them. We all know what happened last time they met with DeMar Hamlin. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals come out and put some points early on. And I was not expecting that. I was expecting a different game plan, different approach. But this game has everything written emotional. If you've played football, you know what this game means. You know that everybody's going to leave their heart on the field. And the Bills Mafia, they want to prove that their team is number one. And then the Bengals Jungle, they're saying, no, we had the lead. We're the better team. So now we're going to see who's actually going to go out. And I like the fact that you mentioned last game, Buffalo versus Miami, where Buffalo did not go out and play as we expected, which was a very weird end of the first half where Miami put in, I think did they match 17 points in the last couple of minutes? Interception for Josh Allen. Things were not going well. Miami was running a third string quarterback. So you look at the Buffalo defense and you're asking your questions like, what's it going to look like? But I think this is a get right game for Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I don't want to get too much into Stephon Diggs because I know you got a little bit of something to tell us about Stephon Diggs. But my feeling on this game, Bills come out, they're going to score early. They're going to keep pounding the ball. They're going to play like you've never seen the Bills play before. I'm rooting for the Bills on this one.
I mean, like, forget about the fact that he's one of my favorite players in fantasy just these past 3 seasons. Stephon Diggs is a freaking gamer, man. Like, if you want to go into war, this is the guy you want to come with. You know, obviously the whole situation in Cincinnati when Damar Hamlin went down was catastrophic. Like, it was horrible. It was tragic. I'm glad that it is going better, and Damar Hamlin is recovering as we speak. So prayers out to you, Damar Hamlin. I hope you keep up the progress. You are a genuine inspiration. But when who was it? Troy Aikman, when he said, "Yeah, I think the players got 5 minutes to warm up." I'm like, they're going to play the game. They just resuscitated their teammate live. They brought him back to life. Like, the man's heart stopped, right? And everybody's face was just like blank. They all had that stone cold look in their face, like they just seen a ghost. And then you got Stephon Diggs firing up the troops, getting everybody rallied up, getting everybody pumped up. I'm like, I want what he's having. This guy is a gamer. This guy is a trooper. This guy is somebody who I want to put in. But God, I'm so excited for the unfinished business. I want to see this happen. I want to see this go down. With that being said, other than Steph Diggs, is there any? I mean, like, you can talk about all the star players until you're blue in the face, right? When it comes down to DFS, in a perfect world, you can't stack all of the star players. You got to have some pivots, some tertiary options. Is this a matchup where you see yourself pivoting to a lesser, cheaper option than your Stephon Diggs and your Josh Allen's?
Well, there's some great players on both teams. But the way I see this, the stars will shine. If you're thinking of stacking Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs together, and you want to super flex Joe Burrow and get that Jamar Chase, I get it. I get it because both those duos, they will have to prove something on the field. I mean, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, 2020 had the receiving record. This season, Stephon Diggs, best season for yardage. He's the go-to guy. When there's an important play to make, Stephon Diggs steps up. And I think this game is going to have a bunch of important plays to make. And when you need a big play from the Bengals, who do you go for? Who do you go for? Jamar Chase. So I'm thinking both these guys are going to have an amazing showdown, amazing game. The stars will shine. I'm going with the big names in this matchup.
I mean, fair enough. I like the later matchup, the 6 p.m. matchup, a little bit more than this matchup. I would say that Chase is my favorite play overall, but if I'm going to look to pivot and look for tertiary options, guys who aren't the number one target, I really like Gabe Davis. I really like T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd's not a bad deal. I think I'm going to fade Hayden Hurst because the Buffalo defense is first against defending the tight end position in fantasy rankings. Dawson Knox should be decent. I like Trent Irwin. I don't know. Here's the thing about Trent Irwin, and it like really upsets me. When I didn't know who the guy was, he was crushing DFS, like winning people's slates. Now that I know who he is and I'm trying to implement him in my lineup, he's gone. He's faded away. He's not doing anything. So I'm gonna try it again. I mean, it's the definition of madness, I guess.
That's the thing with DFS. If the price is right, it doesn't matter how big the name is. Sometimes those guys are the ones that are going to save your week. I agree on that. And you mentioned Dawson Knox. I mentioned earlier in the video, tight ends this weekend. How many touchdowns did Knox get in the last 6 weeks? Not one, not two, 6. Yes, you heard me right. 6 touchdowns in a row. He's going to score.
All right, LeBron. All right. Just let's wrap up this game and just take your who do you think is going to win?
I said I'm rooting for the Bills. The Bills have the storyline that's going for them. They're both really amazing games. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I'm not expecting to see any team take a 2-possession lead in this game. If it happens, the other team's going to come right back. Both defenses can play some really good football. I can't wait to see the game plan, but I'm sticking to my stars.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I mean, you can't deny that the storyline is very enticing. And everybody wants to buy into these storylines, but if this was the Wild, I think a Bengal eats a cow every single time. Sorry, a buffalo, but a buffalo's a cow. Anyways, I'm riding with the Bengals on this one. I like the Bengals. I like Jamar Chase. I like the matchup at the receiver position. Um,
Fair enough.
the Bills' defense is horrible now, so I'm riding with the Bengals. I'm going with Cincy. I hate saying that, but imagine Trevor Lawrence against Joe Burrow. Cool Burr in the AFC Championship.
Both
That is
cats
tasty.
facing off.
I know that is a tasty matchup. All right, let's go into the fourth and final game on this this wild, awesome playoff slate. We got the Dallas Cowboys, who are who we thought they are. They crushed the Bucks, and then we got the second half finishing drives. San Francisco 49ers. This is a tasty matchup. How do you see this one playing out, buddy?
This is my favorite game in the weekend. This is for me. It's our Super Bowl 1 month in advance. It's a shame that they play in the same conference because both these teams will pull out a heck of a show. I can't wait to see what Dak Prescott has in hand because we saw last game, Dak was going out blocking for people. He was running the ball. We haven't seen that from Dak in a while. So I'm super excited about that. But the storyline here for me, offense wins you games, defense will win you championships. And these are two defenses that are very capable. You have San Francisco 49ers, which all year long didn't matter what running back you had, unless his name was Josh Jacobs in week 17. They did nothing. They stopped the run. They're a good defense. And you look on the other side, when they're healthy, when they're playing well, I mean, how can you stop Micah Parsons? I don't care how good your O-line is. This guy is a playmaker. He's going to make plays. This is going to go down to who turns over the ball the most. We've seen all year long the 49ers get the ball back for their offense. Brock Purdy has been on fire. I'm pretty confident that the run game is not going to be present here. It's all going to be receiving yards, receiving yards, receiving yards. And who is one of the best, if not the best, running back at catching balls? Christian McCaffrey. So expect a good game from CMC, but expect a good game from all wide receivers.
I mean, it's not a bad take. I don't disagree with anything you said whatsoever. If I were to start a franchise today, if I had to pick between Micah Parsons and the guy on the other side, Mr. Bosa, I'm riding with Bosa. The dude's got a motor that never stops. He is a monster. He is a freak. And I think he's going to be very important in how this game will go down. Like you said, these teams are both top 5 in points allowed against, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to get many touchdowns. What it's going to come down to is the turnover game. And, shout out to my Cowboys fans. In the big games where they need to take care of the rock, Dak does the complete opposite. And Mr. Productive, Brock Purdy on the other end, all we know from him is taking care of the football and winning football games. I think that's going to be a huge difference maker. I will say Deebo Samuel, yards after catch, he is going to single-handedly pop off against the Cowboys and send them home again the same way he did last year. I got the 49ers in this one. I hate riding with the 49ers in this one because everybody's riding with the 49ers in this one. But I just, unless Dallas wins the Super Bowl this year, I will not believe in Dallas and ride with Dallas and just be confident in picking Dallas. I think Deebo Samuel is the X factor. He's going to be the yards after catch guy. That secondary, they're questionable. They're suspect. I don't think they're going to do what they think they can do. needless to say, other than CMC, obviously, is there anybody else that you like in this game?
100%. Look, I said I love CMC. I'm not saying the price is right. I'm just saying I'm expecting that he could break out as being the only receiver, only running back to actually break out this game. But I said it before. I'll say it again. Tight ends. If I'm running with a tight end in the playoffs, I'm running with George Kittle. He hasn't been the most involved in offensive points, but every single year that he's been in playoff, he's been there when it counts. And this is a game that every play counts. Last weekend, I put my player props on Dalton Schultz. I went with 1 touchdown. I thought about going for 2. He got 2. He would have had a third one if Dak didn't run the ball and just thrown it to Schultz.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So both these tight ends, I'm expecting to get pretty much involved. But if I got to roll with one guy, I think George Kittle, he's going to come out on the plays that matter, make the plays that matter. He's going to be blocking, which is not the most interesting thing from DFS. We don't get points on blocks, but I mean, he's going to be involved in every single play. And when a player is involved, he gets hot, throw him the ball, he'll get it done.
Fair enough. I mean, the fact that I don't anticipate either team being able to run the ball very well makes Kittle definitely more enticing simply because he's going to be involved in the passing game. He's going to get more volume in the passing game because you can have, 9 blockers, but if you're not getting any progress, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to adjust. And would there need to adjust? Kittle should get involved. I still like Kyle Juszczyk. I don't know why. I really don't know why I like Kyle Juszczyk as much as I do, but I'm definitely going to put like a little anytime touchdown player prop on him because this guy's always the forgotten soldier on the field.
You never know with him. He'll one trick play and all of a sudden he runs out for 40 yards.
I know. I love everything he does, but definitely screwed me in one of my DFS lineups. But let's not talk about that. Anything else you want to add just overall based on this slate this weekend coming up?
I got a question for you. How many NFC East teams are going to make it to the next round?
Stop it. Well, I mean,
if
it were up to me, it would be 0. But obviously, one's got to go in that Eagles matchup. But yeah, if it was up to me, it would be 0. I freaking hate that. It's just the loudest fan base. Anyways, carry on.
It's the first time since 1991 that we had 3 teams from the same division play in the divisional rounds. So this is somewhat part of making history. I'm hoping that 2 teams make it forward, but I'm thinking the Niners are going to take this one. So I think we're only going to see one NFC East team go into the next round.
All right. So just to summarize everything you said, top to bottom, who do you got between the Jags and the Chiefs?
Jags.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Jags as well.
Yeah.
Who you got between the Giants and the Eagles?
I'm going with the upset underdogs, the Giants.
Oh, I cannot do that. I am riding with the Eagles, and it sounds and it tastes like pure caca coming out of my mouth saying I'm riding with the Eagles, but I'm riding with the Eagles in that one. All right, Sunday, who you got? Bengals?
Bills.
You got the Bills.
I'm going with the Buffalo. The Bengal might be a predator, but if that Buffalo gets to sit on him, they'll squish him.
Fair enough. I mean, I like the fact that we're not going to have the same props, and I'm going to end up with way more money in my bank account this weekend. I'm going with the Bengals. I'm riding with the Bengals. And the last game, you said you got the Niners.
Listen, last game, my hot take: the winner of this game takes the Super Bowl home. I'm going with the Niners this year.
Just because I don't want to agree with you. I might go Cowboys plus 3.5, but I think just the money line in general for the 49ers is too tasty, and hopefully I don't pull out early. Not that I'm known for that.
This is what's great about football. We never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up our early take. You could join us on Friday and Saturday where we break down the weekend slates, taking a deeper dive, going full DFS breakdowns, full prop breakdowns, giving you as much information that we could possibly give you so you can win some money and get ahead in your owner's box DFS slates. Once again, that's the best app in Ontario, best site in Ontario to get your DFS lineups in. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Mark, for joining us today. It's been awesome having you. Can't wait to have you on more of these episodes. And it sucks that football season's come to an end, but I know you got a lot in store for us, and with fantasy stuff, mock drafts, you even got draft guides, all that. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully you guys got some information and enjoyed the content that we put out today. Like, subscribe, and turn that bell notification on. Because once you turn that bell notification on, anytime we put out these incredible props, these incredible suggestions, you're going to profit. If you guys look at our IG story, we made some monies. Any last words, Mark?
Just want to remind people, we didn't come here to play. We came here to win.
Ooh, I like it. All right, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, you guys have a good one. See you guys soon. Bye now.